Yeah. What it do, yeah? It's your brother, man, from the motherland, coming to you guys live from the NY, back with another one of that Repent or Die podcast. For those that don't know who I am him, Junes, the NBIC, giving all praise and glory to the heavenly, for they are worthy to be what? To be praised. For those that's tuning in, I want to let you guys know, from Instagram, you can watch this full video, get a clear view of me on YouTube. Just Repent or Die podcast. It's on YouTube. But without further ado, definitely got to give a shout out to all you guys for everything that you guys have done, all the support, all the feedback, positive, negative, all things is respected, because it allows me to do what I do best, and that is keep my foot on you heathens, you he-gros, and the newly installed Heathen Night Snacks. Round of applause for that. Yeah. So before I even get into this, man, look, I just posted up something on my IG showing P. Diddy and Meek Mill. Supposedly, this the audio of them doing the, the discuss. You heard? And there's individuals who's finding it hard to believe, or, seeing it as, just basically trying to insult somebody's character. Listen, look, I'm a content creator. I'm a news reporter. I'm a street representative. You understand? And when individuals come and portray a lifestyle and stand before my people, my children, right? When I say my children, I'm talking about every child that's young enough to be my child, every children that these people stand in front of and sell them this image, knowing that they're participating in foolish activities. And a lot of you guys don't know how the entertainment business operate, okay? These are things that you got to go through, all right? So don't get upset at the stuff that's coming out. Get upset that these individuals who you spend money buying their CDs, going to their concerts, be upset that these individuals put themselves in these circumstances. You will never find anything about me being an Abate boy. You're never going to find these things, right? You walk through those doors, you do things in the dark, it's going to come to light. It's just a matter of time. And we're living in the end times where a lot of these things is just coming into light. You understand? So I just wanted to just throw that out there and get it out the way, okay? So please, let us continue. Now, I had to come and do this live. Usually I don't come on and do what I do because I be all over the place. But I definitely had to come on today and basically reach out to the people, talk to the people, and basically, you understand, let my brothers and sisters know exactly what's going on, right? Now, I asked ChatGPT the other day about, and matter of fact, I don't even want to start there. Let's just start there and just ask this hypothetical question. Why is the depictions of the characters within the Bible is deemed as white? That's question number one. Question number two is, do you believe that every character in the Bible is white? That's number two. And the last question is, do you even care if the characters in the Bible is white, black, like those things don't matter to you? Now, why I ask this question? Because a lot of people, especially black people, tend to shy away from reading the word because they believe that the word was, is the so-called white man's book. And in some cases, it is. It is. Because the deeper you start doing your studies, you see that they took the records and they, promoted themselves, right? They interjected themselves and used that book to interject the ideology of themselves to the world, to give the world a perception that's still being followed to this very day, right? Now, this perception is we are God's people. And because we are God's people, we are inclined to say, do, and act the way that we do, right? And a lot of people, especially black people, believes that, right? Not knowing that understanding, that ideology plays a very serious role in your development, in your mental development. It plays a serious role. I'm going to give you an example, right? When you depict something so superior as God or Jesus, and you put them in the image of something pale or white, right? It's very hard for you to stand up against the evil that comes by that same image. Not the person, but the image, that color, the skin tone, right? So I'm going to give you an example. So when a black man shoots a black man, it's wartime. It's get back season. We spinning the block. But when a European does that, we beg. We start to pray to Jesus and ask Jesus to, stop this atrocity from happening. Or we protest, we march, we beg for solution, we beg for reparations, we beg for acceptance, we beg for understandings, we beg to be left alone. See, and a lot of it has to do with what I just said. So I wanted to take the time out and ask ChatGPT, why is the characters in the Bible only being portrayed as white? And what I'm saying, this is facts. Even down to the people in Egypt, that the story that you're told about the people in Egypt are not so-called Africans. They're all called Middle Eastern, Northern African Arabians. Right? This is the depiction that you get. You understand? And everybody else within those scriptures is individuals that have no color. The only narrative, that was written that portrayed for black people was that we are the children of Ham and we are cursed. That's the only thing that we got. Everything else, every story, especially in the New Testament takes you all through Europe. When you look for where Ephesians is, where Rome is, right? Where Corinthians is, these areas are not areas of people of color. So by default, the writings and the perception and the belief is believed to be people that is not of color, right? So I just wanted to just tap in just a little bit, right? I just want to tap in just a little bit, just to show you guys. You understand? Hold on. Let me make sure I got this thing up and running for you. Just to show you guys the high level of the high level. Just to show you guys the high level of deception, but at the same time, trying to give you guys the correction, right? Because everything that is told to us, you got to put all that into consideration. You just can't just take it for what it is. And I say this to my people because my people must understand that the Bible was tampered with, that the Bible was tampered with. You can never in your life read that book for face value, because you will be left in the conditions that we are in now, and that is confusion. Like I tell you guys before, and I told you guys in the previous live, and I'm going to continue saying it moving forward, okay? Religion was created to neutralize and civilize victims of war. Let me say that again. Religion was created to neutralize and civilize victims of war. Okay? Doesn't matter the religion. Doesn't matter if it's Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Hebrewism. Judaism and Hebrewism is the same thing. And all of these things, and if you're thinking that I'm lying, just look at the characteristics and the behavior of people, right? And then when you finish looking at the characteristics and the behavior of people, I then want you as a scholar, as somebody that's seeking truth, to go on and read the Leopold letter that he gave to every mercenary that they was gonna go teach this gospel to everybody. And one of the main things that was said was to ensure that we give them the gospel that removes the warrior in them. You can read this for yourself. But I went on ChatGPT, and while on ChatGPT, I had to ask the question. Now, the question that I asked is, can you explain why everyone in the Bible is falsely portrayed as white people? Now, matter of fact, let me share my screen so I can show you. I want you guys to see this as well. Okay? So this is the question. Can you explain why everyone in the Bible is falsely portrayed as white people? ChatGPT replied and stated the response. The portrayal of characters in religious texts, including the Bible, has been influenced, listen to the word, influenced by various factors, including cultural, artistic, and historical consideration. Now, facts, consider. We considering this. In many artistic representations throughout history, biblical figures have often been depicted according to the cultural context and preference of the artists creating those representations. Okay? Let's scroll down. It says, historically, many European artists depicted biblical figures as white individuals, reflecting the dominant cultural and racial identity in Europe during the time these artworks was created. So again, these artworks was never created in no area where colored people dwell. And colored people only dwell in Africa. Don't you guys go ahead and believe a story that you was in the Middle East, you fled Roman persecution, you went to Africa, and then got found first, because you didn't get found by the Romans first, but then get put on ships. You was first founded by Muhammad and the Arabic slave trade. See, they don't talk like this to you guys, but I'm gonna talk it to you, right? You was taken, right, and sent right back to the so-called place that you said you came from, to be in complete servitude. And they had you there for thousands of years. And yet, thousands of years you are there, you still not even a percentage of the population that is over there. I just want that to just, I just want that to just meditate in your brain. Okay? That never happened. We never ever, no black man ever dwelt in the place called the Middle East. The Middle East, prior to slavery. Listen to what I'm saying to you. You can look into the map. Go on loc.gov, libraryofcongress.gov, and go look at the maps prior to slavery. Go look into the maps in the 1400s. Go look into the maps in the 1200s. They got these things. And you're going to see that those areas called the Middle East was called Arab land. Let me say that again. It was called Arab land. Let me say that one more time. It was called Arab land. You're not going to find no Jerusalem. You're not going to find none of that. The first writings of Jerusalem was, I think it was in believing like 15 something. And prep to send us off into slavery. Okay? All of it was simultaneously. Yo, we're going to put that up there. King James had a meeting with all the best writers in 1605. And we're going to write it. And then I want this thing to be out by 1611. And we're going to then use that by 1611. By 1607, we was already being shipped off. We end up in America in 1619, but we was already being shipped off into various locations in the Caribbean. You was being shipped off into areas in Europe. That's how the black people end up there. Nobody was traveling there. Black people can't dwell when it's cold. We don't like it. You think about this for a second. You think we're going to come from a hot region, hot all year round, and then make our way into a cold atmosphere? How do you have time to skin an animal, start a fire? Where are you hiding? You try to hide in a cave when it's cold, it's 10 times colder because stones get real cold when wind blows on it. So where are we hiding? You got to ask these questions, guys. Very important that you ask yourself these questions. But let us continue. It says, let me start off from the beginning. It says, historically, many European artists depicted biblical figures as white individuals, reflecting the dominant cultural and racial identity in Europe during the time these artworks was created. This portrayal was not necessarily a accurate reflection of the historical and geographical context of the event described in the Bible, as many of the biblical figures would likely had Middle Eastern or Northern African features. Now, when you look into Middle Eastern or Northern African, you could just look this up. Type in Middle Eastern Northern African people. Matter of fact, let me do it. Hold on. You see? You see? You see? You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying to you? This is what you guys are seeing right in front of you. This is not me. This is what you guys are seeing right in front of you. I want you guys to really pay attention, right? They even got Kamala Harris right here for you. You understand? All of this is, oh man, let us continue. Look, it says the whitewashing of biblical characters in art can be attributed to cultural biases, listen carefully, lack of historical accuracy, and the tendencies of artists to create works to resonate with their own community. So you heard it says resonate with their own community. So the question that you got to ask yourself as a colored man, how does this reflect your community? How can something that resonate with their communities, but yeah, we don't have that in our community? Because I can go inside of a church right now, especially when I was growing up. I used to go into a Catholic church. And this Catholic church, all on the walls, all on the windows was European faces. But it just said to artists to create works that resonate with their own communities. So we wasn't allowed to let something resonate with ours. I mean, hey, I'm just saying, guys. It says, however, it is essential to note that interpretations and representations of biblical characters varies widely across cultures. Again, see, it goes again on cultures, but yeah, we don't have one. In Africa, there's none. Wherever there's dominance of black people, what you heard here doesn't apply to us. It doesn't apply to us, and we're gonna get into the reason why, right? And it says, and more recent efforts in art and media have aimed to prove a more diverse and historical accurate portrayal of these figures. It says, in recent years, there has been a growing awareness of the need for more accurate, inclusive representations in art, media, and literature. Efforts are being made to challenge recitfully historical inaccuracies and cultural bias in the portrayal of biblical characters and historical figures. Now, we heard all of that. We heard it. We've been hearing it. So why isn't there an image or a portrayal of black images within the black community? Why is even in a place like Africa, when you go inside their church, it's an image of a European? Why? Because like I said to you guys, when your book was taken, it was rewritten. A lot of things was interjected. See, the Bible, which is Biblos, which comes from Babylon, which these Europeans, and let me not say the Europeans, but the higher ups, the popes, the Rafs, these individuals follow the traditions and the customs of the Babylonian traditions, which is Nimrod, which was in east of Africa. I got the pictures to show you guys. I can show you. I can show you where they get this thing from. I got the pictures to show you. But that's neither here nor there. Okay? Like I told you guys before, the purpose for religion was to neutralize and civilize victims of war. The reason why they don't allow you to have no images that looks like you is because if something looks like you and it was a sacrifice really done, there's a high chance that brothers and sisters will want to take on that responsibility and will sacrifice their very own lives to ensure that brothers and sisters are set free. Because religion was created to neutralize and civilize victims of war. It started off spiritual, it ended up physical. Now we in the state of mental. Okay? So now I wanted to address, let me scroll down some more. Now I wanted to address this whole Hebrew this whole Hebrew stuff, because Hebrew, a lot of you guys don't know that this Israelite claiming that is a 33-degree Mason sorcery cultist teachings that's being passed on to the actual children of God. Now, before everybody gets into their emotions, I just want you to ask yourself this question. If what you are following and believing is such the truth, and you are calling and you doing things according to the word, why are you, two things, why are you still the tail and not the head? And why are you not united as one front, one community, one nation, one church, calling on one God? Because when Moses took us out from Egypt, which is Africa, by the way, he had to give the people, the children of Akobi, not Isis, Ra, and El, he had to give those individuals a name. But now we are in a times where it's 15 different names. 15 trillion, hundreds of different camps, organizations. So are we a camp, organization, or a nation? You got to tell me, which one are we? See, when you start raising up these questions, there's a rebuttal behind it. This is how you know that this is a cultist teaching, that there's a rebuttal behind it. And that rebuttal is the brother is not in the spirit. He's being overtaken. He's speaking heresy. All of these things that you find within the New Test, purposely created to do exactly what Leopold said to do when you read the letter. But anyway, I want to divert, right? So my job as an individual who not only taught this, I stood on it, street preached it, brought souls into these organizations. I brought my mother into these organizations. So I know exactly what I'm talking about. I know exactly what I'm teaching. And you can ask the brothers that been around me. I did a great job. Probably why I do my great job now. Right? And a lot of you guys don't understand that this too is also a religion, psychological, mental, spiritual imprisonment of your soul that prevents you from connecting to your inner self, connecting to the creators, connecting to your ancestors, walking in the path of righteousness. You guys think that is righteousness that you're doing, but you are just being very religious, because the first act of righteousness is to do what? Love thy neighbor like you love yourself. Isn't that the royal law? You see, when people see that and still overlook that, that's a clear indication that you are following a religion than being righteous, because a religion is something that was created by a man, whether the head of the organization, whether it's a foundation of the organization, but it's a pamphlet that's put in place that all people must follow. And if you don't follow, you can be expelled, you can be suspended, you can be terminated, you can be removed. That is not of the creators. That is of man. But that's not why I'm saying this. Now, as for the term Hebrew, the story goes that Hebrew comes from Eber, and Eber stands for crossover. Now, the question that you must ask yourself, what did Eber cross over from? What biblical aspect did Eber have? What event occurred with Eber that required his name to be from Eber to Hebrew. And when you look at the two, there's no correlation. E-B-E-R cannot spell H-E-R. Look, I'm about to spell it wrong. H-E-B-R-E-W. There's something is not right. So I got this book right here. And I think every man should be reading this. It's called African Origins of Major Western Religion. This is it right here. And in this book, hold on, let me show it. The word Hebrew comes from the term Haribu, which is H-A-R-I-B-U. Let me say it again. H-A-R-I-B-U. That's where Hebrew come from. Now, I like to mess with ChatGPT because ChatGPT, ChatGPT is gonna tell you truth, and it's gonna tell you a lie. But then when you confront the lie, it's smart enough to say, "Yo, my bad. Appreciate you for catching that." So I asked, is it true that Hebrew really comes from the word Haribu? Let me say it right. I don't want to butcher it. Hold on. Let me say it right. Hold on, guys. Haribu. Haribu is where Hebrew come from. Haribu. Don't you see? It sounds more. It sounds more. It sounds more relatable than the other stuff, right? See, Haribu sounds more closer to the Hebrew than Eber, but that's neither here nor there. Let me continue. Right? It says the idea that the word Hebrew derives from the term Haribu is a linguistic hypothesis. You see that? But it is not widely not accepted among scholars. See, they're not going to accept it, right? The origin of the word Hebrew is not definitely known. Listen carefully. Hold on. It said it's not definitely known, and various theories exist. It is not definitely known, but various theories exist. Let me say that again. Hold on. I don't think they heard me. It's not definitely known, and various theories exist. Okay? Cool. It says, one theory suggests that the term Hebrew could be related to the word Eber, who is a figure mentioned in the Bible as an ancestor of several biblical characters, including Abram. Another theory, so we know what theory is. Matter of fact, let's look up the definition behind theory. Let's look up the definition behind theory. It says, a supposition or a system of ideas intend to explain something, especially one based on general principle independent of the things to be explained. Okay, so you got to go down. You got to go down to nouns where you see it says hypothesis, thesis, conjecture, supposition, speculations, postulation. Okay? Postulate, proper position, premise, surmise, assumptions. Okay? That's what comes with the word theory. As you can see, you didn't see a single word of facts. You didn't see a single word of facts, an opinion, suspicion, feeling, view, believe, thinking, thought, judgment, contention. You don't see nothing of facts. You don't see the word facts. Let us continue. It says, where we at? Let me read it again. It says, one theory suggests that the term Hebrew could be related to the word Hebrew, who is a figure mentioned in the Bible as an ancestor of several biblical characters, including Abraham. Another theory suggests a connection to the Akkadian word Abiru, which refers to migrants or travelers that exist. Mythology remains uncertain. Again, these are not facts. It is important to note that the linguistic origin can be complex and challenging to trace accurately. So basically, we're just calling something and believing in something and following something that doesn't stand on facts. This is just a theory. It's It's very challenging. Let us continue. It says, while the connection to Hebrew has been proposed by some, it's been proposed by some. That means they know this. It is not mainstream view in linguistic studies. The studies of language origins involve consideration various factors, including historical context, cultural interactions, and linguistic evolutions, making it subject of ongoing research and debate. So basically, it's not in stone. It's not in stone. It's not written in stone. These things are just hypothesis that we are applying to ourselves and using it as truth. So, but we say that we standing on truth. You can't stand on truth operating from an understanding of a hypothesis, because truth is facts. Truth is not a hypothesis. Truth is truth. If you're living on truth, you can't stand on a hypothesis. You got to pick one. You can't serve two masters. You can't uphold truth, but yet live in a lie. Can't do the both. So I said, so what is the story behind what's the story behind Eber name being Hebrew? It says the connection between the name Eber and the term Hebrew is based on linguistics and genealogical interpretations found in the Bible. In the Bible, Eber is mentioned as an ancestor of several biblical. We see this already. The book of Genesis, in particular, traced the genealogy of Hebrew people back to Shem. The son of Noah identifies Eber as one of Shem's descendants. So then that means Noah should be a Hebrew. That means Enoch should be a Hebrew. I mean, it wasn't these writings that you guys said that they found was written and translated from the Hebrew language. I mean, come on. Let us continue. It says the relevant biblical passage is Genesis 10:21-25, which states, to Shem also the father of children of Eber, the brother of Japheth. Children were born, the son of Shem, Elam, Ashur, Apakashad, Lud, and Aram, the sons of Aram. Oh, we're not about to read all that. This is the book of nations. You guys can read that. Right? The name Hebrew is often associated with the term Hebrew because the descendants of Eber are believed to be Hebrew people. Logistically, some scholars suggest a connection. They suggest. This is not facts. So again, these are suggestions. These are theories, hypotheses. These are not facts. Believe, I showed you guys that in theory. You've seen all of that. A connection between the name Eber and the term Hebrew, although the exact etymology remains uncertain. It remains uncertain. So the creator said that he's not the author of confusion. So if there's still confusion and there's still not facts, and these are just opinions or theories, how are we, us now, black and brown people, think that it's okay to refer to yourself of something that's based off a theory, but yet we're saying we standing on truth? I'm just saying. Oh, let me share my screen with you guys. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me share my screen. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It says it's important to note that interpretations of biblical genealogies, linguistic connections can vary, and not all scholars agree. Not all scholars agree on the specifics. The link between Eber and Hebrew people is a matter of biblical traditions and interpretations, and linguistic connections are subject to ongoing scholarly discussions and debate. So these are not facts. These are, again, these are beliefs. These are perceptions. These are theories. These are hypotheses. These are in facts. So how are you standing off a hypothesis and saying that you standing on truth? So I said, so how did the name change from Eber to Hebrew? It says the transformation of the name Eber to Hebrew is not straightforward. Linguistic evolution, but is rather a matter of historical and cultural development. The term Hebrew, as it is understood today, has a complex origin that involves both linguistics and historical factors. See, they got factors, but they don't tell you that this is a fact. Let us continue. It says the term Hebrew first appeared in the Bible in Genesis, where it associated with Eber and his descendants. The biblical narrative of Eber, okay, we know this. It says the language evolution. It says over time, languages undergo changes and the terms can evolve. The transition from the name Eber to the let me say that. I don't want to butcher the word. Hold on. Let me let the ethnonym Hebrew likely evolved logistic developments within the communities using these terms. Cultural identity. The term Hebrew became associated with a specific culture and ethnic identity, referring to the descendants of Abram, Isaac, and Jacob. But you know they got to put Israel. As the Israelites developed into a distinct group with their own religious and cultural identity, the term Hebrew became a way to distinguish them from other groups. Basically separate. External influence, interactions with neighborhood cultures and language could have played a role in shaping the term. For example, there are theories, here is another theory, here are theories suggesting a connection between the term Hebrew and the Akkadian word apiru, right, which refers to a social class of people outside the established societal structure. In summary, the transformation of the name Eber to Hebrew is complex process influenced by biblical narrative, logistic changes, cultural identity, and historical development. The term Hebrew gradually became associated with a specific group of people who descent culture and religious characteristics, and this association had proceeded over the centuries. So I said, so there is no proof that Eber means Hebrew. It says the connection between the name the connection between the name Eber and the term Hebrew is primarily based on biblical genealogies, and historical traditions. And it is not direct logistic derivations in the Bible. Eber is mentioned as an ancestor of several biblical features. See, they keep saying this all the time. All right. While Leginsky's and historians acknowledge the biblical genealogy that links Eber to Hebrew, the direct logistics connection is not universally agreed upon. The etymology of the word Hebrew is complex, and scholars have proposed various theories. Here comes the word theories again, including connections to the name Eber. Oh, see, we read that already. Okay? It says, it is important to note studies of ancient language and mythologies often involve some degrees of speculations and interpretations. The connection between Eber and Hebrew is rooted, force the point, rooted into your brain. You gotta, okay, into biblical traditions and interpretations, and the Leginsky's evidence may not be as clear-cut as in some other cases. As a result, the term Hebrew is primarily understood and accepted within the context of religious and historical traditions rather than being straightforward linguistic and diverge from the name Eber. So there's no proof. There's no proof that Eber and Hebrew go hand in hand. These are all theories. So when you hear theories, these are things that these brothers created from themselves. It has no connection with us. So I'm saying, how can we be standing on truth, but yet we're operating in a space of lies? You can't call yourself a Hebrew. That's not accurate. But yet saying I'm a Hebrew Israelite and I'm bringing forth truth. See, Hebrew is not a colored man's language. And people are going to say, yes, it is. Yes, it is. This is Hebrew language. Listen, think about this, people. Just think about this. Like, honestly, we are very smart people. I know my mother speaks like 4 different languages. I speak 2. We are very smart people. Even if they beat the kunta out of you, you would never disregard your language. So what? These people had iPhones and they was monitoring your conversation when you spoke with each other, when you prayed with each other, when you did all of that. That language. Ask yourself this question: if Hebrew was our language, that language would have still been spoken on the plantation till this day. That language would have still been a part of our everyday language. It would still has been. And if not only would it still have been, but even if they removed it, you will be able to catch Hebrew dialects within our language. You don't find that at all. People in Haiti that speaks French, you can still hear African dialects. It's infused. That's what patois means. It's a mixture of languages that create whatever they're speaking. Even when we speak the way that we speak in the hood, they call it ghetto tongue. You speak in patois. Everything, because our language and our customs, we are very knowledgeable people, right? You have to understand that you are very knowledgeable. You cannot allow individuals to make it seem that prior to slavery, you had no intelligence. You was living in huts and you couldn't afford clothes and all of that. How can that be so? When I can show you maps where there was kingdoms all through the land of Africa. You will never find these kingdoms in the Middle East. These kingdoms came after we fell. After we fell. You guys got to start waking up and understand that we are being fed lies intentionally. We are being fed lies intentionally. You got to wake up and smell the Kool-Aid, people. Like there has to come a time where we really got to start questioning things and not taking things for face value. Because if we have gotten this far and we starting to realize and see that everything that was told to us was a lie, then you got to ask yourself, did they not put lies also in the Bible? Why are we taking it like how it is when we know that even your Savior let it be known in John chapter 8 verse 44 is that said, you of your father the devil, and the lust of your father you shall do, for he was a murderer and what else? And a liar, and abideth not in truth. So if we know that these individuals abide not in truth, and we know that the world was given unto the hands of the wicked, and we know that the devil took your Savior to exceedingly high mountain and said, all these kingdoms I will give you if you bow down and worship me. If we know all of these things to be true, then what makes you think for 1 second that the information that's coming out of this book is 100% accurate? When the name Hebrew comes from Habriru, Harabru, Haribu, Haribu, Harabru, Hebrew. Eber doesn't sound like that. And the story that they gave you behind that, come on, man. Ask yourself, where can you find it? Show me in the book of Jasher. Show me in the book of Jubilees. Show me any record where you can show me where Eber crossed over anything. What did he cross over? He probably crossed over a plate of food. He was playing basketball. I don't know. But if he ain't crossed over nothing, why are we teaching that he crossed over? Who's giving you this information? Who's feeding us these informations? Because when they took our records, just look. When you want to go find what that word means, you go into the Strongs and you got to pull up what language? Hebrew. Now, who speaks Hebrew? You not finding black people. These black brothers that you see speaking it or trying to speak it. I had a brother from Africa. He said shalom to me. I said, yo, my brother, you from Africa. Why are you telling me shalom? He said, yo, because we Hebrew Israelites. I said, yeah. I said, so can you speak Hebrew? He says, yeah. I said, fluent Hebrew. He said, yeah. I said, yo, send me a DM voice. The man told me his connection don't work. I said, how your connection doesn't work, but yeah, you having a whole conversation with me via DM. But when I ask you to speak it, you're telling me your connection is bad. I mean, you get what I'm saying? It's like these brothers know what time it is, but it's because we allowing these people to feed us foolishness. You understand? So when I ask these questions to brothers and sisters, the response that I should get is, yeah, I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna prove to you that it's such and such. But that's not our tongue. See, so much things running through my brain. I'm ready to go left. Let me stay right here. So when you see the word Hebrew, when you got to look into a word of what's being said, you don't understand. You got to go into their text. And it's Hebrew. Who speaks the Hebrew tongue? First of all, the Hebrew language is forbidden to be spoken amongst the public. So that means the Hebrew that you're speaking, which one is it? Paleo, Aramaic, which one? Which one? So the creator was speaking 15 different languages. Come on, guys. When you look, you got to go through them. When you look into the Old Testament, what language is that? What nationality is that? We can't blackface. We can't get mad when Europeans blackface. But then we stand on doing the same thing when it comes to religion. We are blackfacing these images. These brothers want to blackface Jesus. And not only do they want to blackface Jesus, they want to blackface Jesus and make black people participate in European culture. Drinking blood is European culture. Eating body parts, pigs and all that is European culture. That is not our culture. Eating animals alone is European culture. That is not our culture. We're dying because we're following the ways of the heathens. I got a game called Assassin's Creed. The man and this girl was conquering the land. And this man said out his mouth, oh, I can't wait to get to this land. I can just see myself eating me a sliced tongue pig. I said, damn. Some of them love a pig. But what they started feeding black people, they started telling you that it's okay to eat bacon, bro. Bacon is filled with parasites, filled with diseases that if it goes inside your body, it will take years to remove. And people are so wicked that they see that black people is waking up. So they decided to start putting it in your capsules. They decided to start putting it in your toothpaste, in your marshmallows, in your chips, in your chocolate, the things that you like. They decided to put it in there. That's the cause of all these parasites that's running through your body. And then at the end of the day, you are left with what? You are left with colon cancer, prostate cancer, all of these cancerous things because your inside is so jacked up. I just ordered me a pill. When I get it, I'm going to test it out. I read the reviews. They say this joint is super powerful. I'm going to test it out. Because we as people, it's time for us to really start cleansing our bodies, cleansing ourselves. When you see me all bright and light, it's because I'm cleansing. My pores is opening up. I can't wait for it to get hot so I could be in that sunlight and let all that bacteria come out. When your underarm is smelling the most, those are bacteria. That means you have a high influx of bacteria that needs to be removed. You can't just wash it off. You really got to sweat all that out. These things got to come out your body. It has to come out your body. Your body gives you warnings before it shuts down. When you pass gas and it's crazy, you're like, damn. When you stink, you're like, damn, I just took a shower and it seems like the deodorant is not working. It's because there's too much toxins in your body and your body's trying to release them out. You can't just go take a shower. You really got to go do things. Go for a run. Yes, you got to go for a run. Sweat that joint off because when you go for a run and you smell, people is going to see you and they're going to be like, oh, he's working out. I could understand why he smells, or I understand why she smells. If you just walking, people not going to understand it because subconsciously they don't understand that when your underarms stink, you're taking it like, damn, this person forgot to put on deodorant. No, it's not because you forgot to put on deodorant. It's because of bacteria that's you built up over the years. You got to let that out. And I don't want to go off topic, but these are things that I got to tell my people because my people need to understand their bodies. We have to understand our body. Remember, you are made in their likeness, in their image. Your temple is your connection to them. You are a reflection of them. When you walk outside and you talk outside, you're supposed to be in complete. To be a complete righteousness is not just walking in it. It's eating it. It's talking it. It's standing on it. See, you see, I didn't say belief. That's religion. You got to stand on that. And a lot of it comes with denouncing the ways of these people. When I showed you guys the video of the sister 141 years old, people is shocked. They don't even want to acknowledge her as one of the oldest living people on the earth. And she's not the only one. There's people in Africa right now that you don't know about that's 180 something years old. They're not going to tell you this because if they tell you this, people is going to want to go and speak. Dr. Sebi didn't get removed for no reason, people. Let's get that clear. You understand? But to land back on what I was saying, the reason why the depictions of the characters of the Bible is white because the story that was given to us in the Bible had to be white. The interpretations to see what you're reading has to come from the writings and readings and understanding of white. When you go to the Strong's, Hebrew is a white man's tongue. Greek, white man's tongue. Israel, white man's tongue, language, location. It's not us. Hebrew, white man's tongue. Infused, they had to create their own version. You can read this book. And this brother been all over. This is not one of these brothers that sit on a computer and gain his information. No, this man was one of the top scholars that ever lived. Brother Ben Johanna. Some of you guys done seen his lectures on YouTube. Ever lived. That's where they get the term Hebrew. They had to create their own version. Because when slavery was coming into tuition, they had to reprogram the people. Again, like I said, religion was created to do what? To neutralize and civilize victims of war. And that's the whole purpose behind it. Religion is dying right now because the time is coming to an end. People are waking up. The stronghold that came with religion is not the way it used to be. People are stepping away. People are really stepping away. You should see the churches. It's really dying down. The numbers is very, very, very low. Historically low. And brothers and sisters is stepping away. Brothers and sisters is tapping in with their spiritual side. Brothers and sisters is realizing that we're not no Middle Eastern people. We are black. We're from the only place on the face of this earth that's filled with black people. Where the population of black people is 99.99. That's where we at. Brothers is connecting. They're putting they putting the dots together. And it's nothing to do with nobody else, but this is for us. And because you see this happening, don't you notice that there was a time, I think it was like 2 years ago, where there was just census people just going all through the community, ringing bells, knocking doors. They was consistent too. You know, back in the day, they'll come one time and be like, yeah, I filled it out. Now they was coming. Did you fill it out? Did you fill it out? Did you do this? Did you do that? Ringing the bell. They came Monday. They came Tuesday. They came Friday. They came Saturday. They even came on Sundays. because they needed the paperwork to see where the people at right now in this day and age. And when they realized, and if you think I'm lying, prove me wrong. And when they realized that black and browns were stepping away from these so-called organizations, these religious infrastructures, they said, you know what? Since nobody ain't gonna be under my control, I'm just gonna terrorize the whole community. The immorality is gonna be at an all-time high. Drugs can be found and bought all over. I can walk in any neighborhood in Brooklyn right now, outside of the Jewish neighborhood. I can walk in any neighborhood and find me a weed spot, a smoke shop that sells me marijuana. Any neighborhood. Any neighborhood outside of where the Jewish people dwell, you're going to find nothing but smoke shops. Some of them brand new. Every other day is one being open. Brothers is really competing with each other. And everybody's getting high. So the devil said, if y'all not going to be under my control, I'm going to ensure that you will never tap into that spiritual side. I'm going to make sure that you defile your temple. What you think is going on? Your temple has been defiled, people. Your temple has been defiled. And they know that. And they know that. So you got to make that conscious decision and decide, what am I supposed to do? Understand that this war that we are in, this spiritual battle, this last frontier, is bigger than anybody could ever imagine. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than you. This is a worldwide attack. Kenya is coming into Haiti, guys. Haiti just released all the top killers, guys. It's about to be bloodshed. You know they always send the blacks against the blacks, and then they're going to send the whites. Here comes the white hope. Here comes the UN. Here comes this. Here comes military. Here comes FEMA. Here comes all of that. Same thing they doing here in America. You got individuals who came back from war, fought for this country, psychologically not right in the head after all that trauma they had to endure for 10 years. Brothers be doing 2 runs, come back, head not right. And then you would think that the country that they fought for will help them. No, put them right on the street. And then in the same time, while they on the street, mind you, they fought for this country. While they on the street trying to figure it out, can't function, having nightmares, flashbacks, and they purposely put them in areas where it's noisy, where it irritates them. They can't be in a calm, quiet community. Absolutely not. You're going to make the neighborhood look bad. You got to put them with the noise. And while all of these brothers is suffering, begging, these same exact people is allowing individuals to come in, have homes, credit cards. I spoke about this on my podcast. Will the migrants turn America into Gotham City? They come. They getting everything, all the resources. Mind you, some of these people that's coming up here is convicted felons, criminals, murderers, pedophiles, rapists. They got a pardon in their land to come over here and come to terrorize. And then when the social injustice kicks in, the reason why it's not crazy yet, because they're hiding it good. The reason why it's not crazy yet is because they hiding it good. You understand? It's being taken care of. It's gonna come right under your nose until one day you're gonna get breaking news. this has stopped. And when that occurs, that's when the unjust will kick in. And you know they're going to rally together. It's going to be a full-fledged attack. And that's what they're banking on. So understand what's going on, people. Don't be naive. They took your book and they took your records, rewrote it, created their own version, put their own narratives. Nothing that you was reading out that book, nothing of it is as accurate as you think it is. With much truth comes a whole lot of lies. And man, this book got more lies than truth. That we really gotta go to different sources. I gotta read this. I gotta read that. I gotta wait for a Jesuit to finally get it in his heart to unveil truth and information, to say the things that we've been talking about. These are the things that these people are doing. But you don't hear me though. You don't hear me though. You do not hear me. That's why the characters is white. Because the whole Bible was reconstruct to implement, or should I say to promote Europeans. Isis Rael was to promote Europeans. Abraham name being changed to Abraham. His name is Abram. He changed it to Abraham to do what? To uphold Europeans. When the name changed, they had to change the name so he can be the father of religion. This is how they was able to infuse us together. Find out who Ham is. Why Abram? How is Abram added? And then they said remove the M and just put HAM. So it could be Abraham. Abram became Abraham. Why is the hum there? Who put the hum? Who's humming to you? Who's humming to you? Because you guys don't know the story. You guys don't know the story. Abram never was the father of faith. You can go look it up right now. Go look up the word faith. Show me when Abram ever said the word faith. But no, he's about to sacrifice his only son because that was faith. That wasn't faith. That's confidence. You only can have faith for something that is fake. And even that story is something you got to question. Because why would the creator play around like that? I'm not gonna test you. I'm not gonna have a conversation with you saying, yeah, you about to have a son at your old age. And then to play with you, see where you at. I'm at your old age. I'm gonna say, yeah, son, bring your son to this altar so he can get cut up. Come on. There's only one people on the face of this earth that like cutting up, shooting up, locking up, throwing up, and it ain't black and brown. And I'm going to leave it as that, people. I'm going to leave it as that, people. I hope you guys have a good one. Continue supporting the Repent and Die podcast, man. We on every podcast platform. For those that don't know who I am, man, I am him, Junes, the NBIC. You're giving all praise and glory. You're AKA Mr. Keep My Foot on you heathens, you he-gros, and the newly installed heathenites next. Are you dumb or are you dumb? Let the Father say it one time for the one time. I'ma holler at y'all. One.